I'm a marketing consultant, and since I'm in a creative line of work, I'm intimately acquainted with the creative process. However, nothing prepared me for the ultimate creative process, making a tiny human. Every creative endeavor starts with inspiration. With my son, it all started when my husband and I were inspired by the fall foliage of North Carolina. In those early stages of the creative process, all you have is a glimmering idea or a moment of brilliance, but you don't always know exactly what it is yet. It was the same for my tiny human. My parents were so excited to be grandparents for the first time. When we gave them a copy of the first sonogram at 8 weeks, it was as if we had given them an original copy of the Magna Carta. They paraded it around town, showed all their friends, framed it in a place of prominence in the house, until one day, during a dinner party, my father realized that something was off. He realized that the picture was not, in fact, of their precious soon-to-be grandchild, but instead, an image of his recent prostate scan. Oops! Sometimes a new creation is kind of hard to recognize in the beginning. The middle of the creative process is usually all about procrastinating and then feeling really sick about it. It was the same for the creation of my tiny human. I basically laid around for 5 months, able only to eat from the 3 main food groups: caprese salad, Sour Patch Kids, and SpaghettiOs. My poor husband prepared meals for me, bought and decorated our Christmas tree, and basically did everything while I incubated. But once the deadline of birth started to draw closer, things heated up. I was back in the saddle at work and traveling across the country. At almost 8 months pregnant, I flew from Charleston to Portland, Oregon. I know, could I go any further? On the main leg of the trip, I got stuck sitting between 2 guys. I was honest from the get-go. Guys, look, I'm pregnant, and I'm feeling a little nauseous. They just kind of gave me a really nervous but unsympathetic look. I barfed a few hours later. In fact, on all of my pregnant flights, no one ever offered to put my suitcase in the overhead compartment. I'm thinking, like, do you not see this huge orb on my torso? Sometimes in the creative process, no one sees your vision, and you're on your own. Before too long, I was in the final push of the creative process of making a tiny human. You know, the part where you're really working hard. After a lot of breathing and a glorious epidural, my deadline approached, and I got to meet the final product, my creation, Liam. He was breathtaking, and I was euphoric. How could something that started as just a twinkle have come so far? All of a sudden, I was aware that not only did I create something, I had been created myself. A creation made a creation. Talk about mind-boggling. You know, it was the ultimate Russian nesting doll situation. I looked at my tiny son, and I felt so inspired and so thankful to my parents, and then to God, who kind of started the whole nesting doll, tiny human-making trend. So, as it turns out, I'm totally hooked on this whole tiny human thing. And so the creative process is starting all over again, though the deadline is TBD.